I'm going to move to adoption of the agenda. If there's any changes to the agenda, if no objections, we'll adopt by consensus. All right, this is for our outgoing student trustee, Giovanni Alejandro Martinez. Whereas Giovanni was elected to serve as the student member of the Napa Valley College Board of Trustees and was dedicated to his role and the associated students of Napa Valley College to bring positive change in the college community as a student leader from May 2023 to April 2024. Whereas Giovanni worked tirelessly in his advocacy for student success, and his thoughtful approach has helped him to attain personal and professional goals while holding himself to the highest standard of behavior as an elected official. And whereas Giovanni was a valued member of the MESA program, EOPS, SS Trio, he was influential among his peers and demonstrated strong desire to make an impact in the campus community. His participation in ASNVC events, student clubs on campus, such as robotics and polls, animal lovers, enhance student life and sense of community on campus. And whereas Giovanni dedication, inquiring mind, collegial work style, and diligent dedication to organizing events to bring students together was of tremendous value to the college, board, and student body to improve student success. Now, therefore, be resolved that the entire college community extends its appreciation to Giovanni and wishes him the best as he continues to pursue his education. And I will take a motion on the resolution.
So moved.
I have a motion by trustee Baker and a second by trustee Olson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution passes. Thank you very much. And at this point, we're going to swear in our new trustee and turn it over to Dr. Powell.
Before I step to the podium, just want to say thank you, Gio, for your service. It's been great getting to know you. And yeah, we got to get that lunch. So looking forward to that. All right. Yes. You want to step to the podium? I have it right here. You can read from it if you.
Yeah, never.
I, Cindy Gonzalez,
I, Cindy Gonzalez,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
into which I am about to enter.
into which I'm about to enter.
All right, welcome on board.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Powell, and welcome, Cynthia. Cindy, sorry. All right, we are going to do action item 3.3. This is annual review and approval of privileges granted to the student trustee and included in board policy 2015. Catherine, can you open the BP? And if no changes, I'll ask for a vote on this one.
I'll
there
move
any-
approval.
Motion by trustee Baker,
Second.
second by trustee DeLuna. Any public comment on it? See any? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The
Passes
second
unanimously.
was trustee Rios, correct? Or?
I was, DeLuna was a little quicker on that
Okay,
one.
got it, sir.
Got you on the next one, trustee Rios. Okay. And next, we're gonna move to an information item, and Omar, you're gonna be presenting, so I'm gonna turn it over to you.
All right, thank you very much. And I'll be brief because I know we don't have too much time, but my name is Omar Pena. I'm a student affairs specialist here at Napa Valley College, and I'm also the current advisor for student government. So I just wanted to say a few words, and again, I'll be very brief. Before I finish, I'm going to pass it on to Cindy too, who's going to share a few words about an experience that we all had too. So what I just wanted to say is that this was really a great group to work with, and thank you, Catherine, for the presentation too. Really a great group to work with that took time out of their busy schedules to attend general meetings twice a month, an office hour once a week, monthly one-on-one meetings with me, and participating with events, ASMBC, club events, college events, just to name a few of the activities that this group was doing. So yeah, really dedicated bunch. On top of that, the group was dedicated to their classes and made sure to put their exams and assignments first. So, I really do appreciate that. I respect that. And I just wanted to say a huge thank you to the previous board. We do have one of our members here, Gio. So yeah, I just want to say thank you for having a great year, and also welcoming our new board that's starting in June, which we have two of the members here right now, Cindy, and then also Ashley, who's going to be joining us on ASMBC this coming year. So with that said, I'll go ahead and pass it on to Cindy if you wanted to go ahead and share. And yeah, Catherine, feel free to, if you wanted to just scroll through so people can see the members. But yeah, Cindy, I'll pass it to you.
Dean Robin Darkangelo partnered with Derek. Thank you. Dean Robin Darkangelo partnered with Derek Bromley, the founder of Ohm Coffee, to organize a trip for the ASMBC board to visit the Roastery and Coffee Lab. Robin, Heather, and Omar took the group to the Ohm Coffee Roastery and Coffee Lab, where Derek gave us a tour of the roastery and explained the intricate process of how he ensures customers will have a perfect cup of coffee, from perfecting the temperature of the roaster at every minute to tracking the analytics of the roast on his laptop, which is connected to the roaster, to using the trier to smell the coffee beans throughout the roasting process. Next, we had a coffee tasting where Derek prepared different blends of coffee for the group to taste in the coffee lab. Derek explained how he has named each of his coffee blends after the iconic guitar amps that define the rock and roll era. Derek also explained how each step of the coffee process is crucial to having a great cup of coffee, from the temperature of the water to when and how you pour the water over the coffee grounds, and so much more. During this trip, I learned that the process of making coffee is so much more complex than I had thought. The trip to Ohm Coffee was fun and a learning experience that I will remember whenever I enjoy a cup of coffee.
Thank you, Cindy. Omar, anything else, or you good? Thank you. Next is 4.1. This is an action item as well. This is for our nursing program and resolution in honor of National Nurses Week. And do we have any public comment on that? Jerry, anything? Thumbs up from Jerry. Thank you. I'm gonna call the question. Do we have a motion?
I'll move.
Trustee Kishner. Do I have a second?
Second.
Trustee DeLuna, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Catherine, unanimous on that one. And this is an information item, but Jerry, you wanna head up and go through our outstanding Napa Valley College Storm athletes from 2023 and 2024?
Absolutely. Rod, I only get 3 minutes. Oh, man, I prepared a lot. I'm sorry. So thank you for having me here tonight. I made a slideshow. I made it a little bit too long, so I'll try to go through as quickly as I can. So next slide, please. So this year, we obviously had a lot of academic success at the college. We had 123 athletes in the fall, and they all, the average was 13.6 units, with, I believe, about a 2.75 GPA. Interesting thing, our women's basketball program this year had 3 academic all-state members, which we're extremely proud of. And this year, we also had a 3rd-team all-state player in Brooklyn Giles who received a scholarship to Cal State Los Angeles for next fall. And we had in our fall sports, we had 12 members make the academic all conference team. So we're very proud of our academic accomplishments. So I wanted to present 4 athletes tonight, and I don't have the time. So if you have a moment, please look through them. I think Ping has an incredible story to tell from Beijing, China. Not to sound ageist, Ping is older than me. And when she came in, she asked me if she could play golf. And I said, "You want to learn how to play?" And she goes, "No, I want to be on the team." I said, "Well, we're pretty competitive." Gave her Coach Fresky's number, went out. She placed 48th in the state this year. So she was a freshman, has 2 degrees and is taking full units and will come back and play for us next year. Next slide is Emmanuel Duran, who ran into some, I wouldn't say academic issues, but didn't qualify for the 24 units. But we kept him in our program. He couldn't participate. Played with FC 1839 in town, is actually tonight signing his letter of intent to play at St. Mary's next year. So it's a really good success story for Emmanuel. Awesome young man. Next student I want to spend a little bit of time on because I think some board members know Marcus. So Marcus came from Guam to be a part of our men's program. Last year, Marcus took 11th in the state, was Big 8 Conference Player of the Year, which is the largest conference in Northern California. He's earned a Division I scholarship, which is our first Division I scholarship in golf to Weber State. Interesting, if you've been following golf over the weekend, our men's team just took 4th in the state of California, and Marcus tied for 1st, which is incredible. So super proud of what Marcus has done. And then our last student athlete is probably the most proud I've ever been of a student athlete, and I hope I don't get choked up. Darlani came to us from Fairfield from Rodriguez and had an incredible first year playing basketball, but struggled in the classroom. She is not an online learner. She came into my office. We both shed some tears. I said, "You're not going to be eligible to play next year. You would have to pass 12 units in the summer to be eligible." Well, she didn't. She passed 13. So she came back. She made first team all conference, has earned a spot to move on to play at Cal Maritime next year. So that is what sports and what athletics can do for students. So extremely proud. Darlani and I spent a lot of time together this year. A lot of work was put in by our head coach, Paul DeBolt. He's not here to coach basketball. He, as you can tell, academics is number one. Assistant coaches work with her, and she had a great aunt that spent a lot of time with her. So very, very proud. And then just lastly is a thank you to everyone that was helped us be successful this year. We have Alfredo Hernandez is now helping us with academic counseling. And of course, everybody here was extremely involved in our success. And I do want to point out our facilities department and our groundskeepers. We got to play 5 home games this year in baseball due to the rains. And if they weren't out there, coach is here. We would not have played those 5. So Jim and Miguel, thank you for allowing them to come out for a couple of days to get that field ready, because the boys got to go out and play and they did really well at the end of the year. So, and I put a shameless plug in there for our Storm Cup golf tournament again this year. Come out. It's a great event. Thank you, Jeff, for all your work that you did. That was a wonderful success last year. So thank you all. And you're all part of the success of our student athletes. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jerry. And next, Matthew Gillis, Phi Theta Kappa.
Hello, Kathy Gillis here again, Phi Theta Kappa advisor for the Honor Society for Napa Valley College. First of all, I don't want to forget, thank you to the entire Board of Trustees for your support, particularly Kyle over the years and Dr. Powell, who spoke at, and Alex, who spoke at our last induction ceremony last Thursday. And it was great. I wanted to really applaud the students and just, I think all of their awards are up there, but it's kind of tiny writing to read. Hopefully you reviewed it as usual. We kept up our 5-star status, but we had some standouts such as Agatha Ramos Mayer was our all California academic team student, along with a Coca-Cola Foundation scholarship. So we're very proud of her. Cindy is here. She's, of course, everywhere, apparently. She's on committees. She's been very active in the college, will be your new trustee. She is also our new president of our team. And Ashley is here as well. She's our executive vice president. And we are working on a project we think will be very fruitful that we met with some of you on in the president's office about regarding a student advisory council. So we're very excited about that. Our academic projects include our theme, The Power of Stories. So we think that will be a great opportunity to talk about the college, our students, and in that realm of stories. We think that'll be great. And then I just wanted to turn it over to Cindy if you wanted to say anything.
I don't have anything more to add, but I'm very excited for the college project that we met about this Tuesday. So I think it's going to be a great opportunity to expand the student voices on the committees and make sure that's representative of the full student body. Thank you.
Did you want to say anything, Ashley? Just give thumbs up. Thank you so much for all your support. I'm really excited about this new team of officers and students. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. I was sorry I missed last week, but thank you. Christine.
Hi, good evening, trustees, Dr. Powell, Cabinet, and NVC Community. I am Christine Tapia, President of the Administrative Confidential Senate of Napa Valley College, and I am pleased to announce that Imelda Basco, Director of Payroll Services, has been named the Administrative Confidential Employee of the Year for her exceptional dedication and outstanding contributions to our college community. So a nomination from her peers highlights Imelda's positive attitude, willingness to assist others, and willingness to take on additional responsibilities, which has made her a valuable asset and role model, or ate, which is the Tagalog word for big sister, for her peers. And on a personal note, Imelda was one of the first persons to welcome and befriend me when I started at NVC a little over 16 years ago. So it's a personal honor to be able to return that I get to present this award to her a little over 16 years later. So Imelda has just come back from a very well-deserved vacation. Is quite jet lagged, so she's unable to join us today, but she sends her thanks for this honor and her gratitude to be working with dedicated and supportive colleagues. So when you pass her down the hallway one of these days, please congratulate Imelda for this well-deserved honor. Thank you.
President Iverson, if I could add to Christine's remarks, Imelda's been here for 25 plus years. And in the last many years, she's been responsible for our payroll. And she's quiet, she's works almost behind the scenes, but she has been as steady as they come. And she generated a payroll during our cyber attack crisis that could have crippled the institution. And so we owe her a great debt, not only for that, but for her longstanding and very dedicated service to the district, to our employees. And I want to just add my thanks and congratulations and wish her the best.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Christine, and congratulations. I was going to ask how long she had been here, so thank you. 30? Oh, wow. It's impressive. Okay, next is action item. This is acknowledgement of retiring staff. I have a couple resolutions to read, but I'm going to turn it over to Jim to say a few words.
There are two retiring staff out of the administrative services area. The first is Banji. I don't see Banji. Banji Pear. Banji has worked 24 years at the institution. She's been taking care of our retirees and some of our accounts payable areas. Banji's very quiet. She has a terrific sense of humor, and she had her small dog she'd bring with her to the office every day. It was so quiet, but it was really kind of the mascot for the office, certainly through the pandemic and beyond. She will be dearly missed. And I would just want to thank her and congratulate her publicly.
Thank you, Jim. Neither Karen or Vanjie are here with us this evening, but I'm gonna read a little bit, few lines from their resolution. So for Vanjie, whereas Evangeline Pear, accounting technician, business and finance, served Napa Valley College for 24 years with a demonstrated devotion to her work. And whereas Vanjie continuously showed dedication and compassion towards students and retirees who reached out to her for assistance over the years. And whereas Vanjie rewarded all with her friendly smile, laughter, and support from her adorable canine companion. And now therefore it be it resolved that the Board of Trustees and the entire college community join me in extending our sincerest thanks and best wishes as she moves on to new adventures. And a few lines for Karen Smith, 22.5 years, whereas Karen Smith, technology specialist, IT, served Napa Valley College for 22.5 years, demonstrating her leadership in this area. Karen helped train the student workers and showed them valuable skills to take them to the next level. And whereas Karen assisted with the coordination of the mini classroom updates, upgrades on campus, and Karen always went out of her way to help the staff to fix or replace technology being used on campus. And whereas Karen was a leader in the union, most recently serving as a negotiator, and was recognized and honored by Classified Senate in 2018. And now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees and the entire college community join in extending to Karen our sincere thank you and best wishes as she moves on to new adventures. So we congratulate both of them on their retirement and wish them the best. And this is an action item. So do I have a motion? Trustee Rios and Trustee Olson, and
Would Jim have a word for Karen? I don't know if Jim had something to say on Karen.
I'm sorry, I missed the prompt. What was
did you have anything you wanted to say about Karen?
Karen Smith worked in our IT area for 22 and a half years. Very steady, very quiet, but very dependable. And not only did the college depend on her, but faculty really went to her when they had technology challenges in the classroom. So she was a favorite of many faculty and many staff. Quiet, unassuming, but very capable, and we'll surely miss her. Congratulations on her next adventure, and with our sincere thanks.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you to Karen and Vanjie. So I did have a motion by Trustee Rios and a second by Trustee Olson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, and again, we wish you guys the best in retirement. We wish you were here with us this evening. Next is 4.6. This is Dr. Ed Shank Excellent and Student Service Award. I'm gonna turn it over to Dr. G.
So it's my privilege and excitement to be able to honor Ms. Veristine Henderson. We had a celebration for her yesterday for the Dr. Ed Shank Excellence in Student Services Award. And just a couple of words about we refer to Mrs. Veristine as Ms. V out of respect and out of love. She's been on this campus for many years, first starting off as a student at Napa Valley College. She was a student in the Umoja program. And then later, actually, I got the privilege and honor of working with her closely through the EOPS program where I was a counselor at the time. So if you know Ms. V, you understand and get that she is the type of individual that brings lots of wisdom and elder knowledge. So Ms. V is a grandmother, she's a mother, a grandmother, and a great grandmother. An exceptional person, someone to know, and somebody who brings lots of love, lots of care, lots of commitment to the work that she does. Just a couple of words to describe her and how she was described yesterday and over the years. A very passionate, a very dedicated educator centered on serving students. She is a role model for our students, for our community. She is a mentor to many of us, to many students in particular. I also want to say that after she completed her time at Napa Valley College, she went off to the university. Again, grandmother and great grandmother, got her BA degree, didn't finish there, went back, got her master's degree, continues to serve in Napa Valley College through the Emoja program. So I want to give major props and really honor Ms. V for all her hard work. Thank you.
Trustee Kishner, did you have any, you were on that committee? Do you have anything you wanted to add?
Kyle, may I add something?
Yes, you may.
Jenny and I were able to go to the event yesterday and it was very lovely. Also, she just celebrated her 50th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
So her family was there with her, so that was lovely. I also happened to go to the Emoja event. I was only there for a little while, but during the time that some of the students were speaking about just the wraparound services that program offers and the community that they build, both of them called out by name Miss B. And so she's definitely very deserving of this award.
Well, congratulations to her from the board, and it's exciting. How many years for Ed Shank now? Is this?
This is the 5th year.
Okay, next, information. This is McPherson Distinguished Teaching Award and Dr. Mora.
Yes, it's my pleasure to introduce Professor Antonio Castro, who is this year's award winner, very deservedly so. He is a professor of physics and engineering, and there are so many reasons he was nominated, but the student letters were really compelling about the impact that he has had on their lives, not just from the classroom, but in one of the students who went to the ceremony remarked that it had a profound effect on him to see someone who he could see himself in and who believed in him and believed in his potential and told him, it is possible. Yes, it is possible for you to pursue a career in this area. It was incredibly touching. And one other amazing thing I'd just like to mention was he provided us with an incredible lecture from his discipline. And in 15 minutes time, he had us thinking, he had us asking questions. We saw his passion, his love for his students, and his belief in possibility. It was really profoundly moving. So I'm so happy to recognize Professor Antonio Castro.
I could quickly add just a few words. I just want to also say that over the years, I've gotten the privilege of working with Professor Castro through student affairs, but just his passion of giving back to the community and just really being a role model in STEM fields to all of our students, but in particular our students who are underserved or underrepresented. So just want to also say thank you to him, and he's made a big impact in our community.
Kyle, I was also able to go to that event and just like to share that the little lecture that we received was fascinating. I learned stuff and I went home and told my 14-year-old who was not impressed, but he knows everything. So, but maybe he'll be, when he comes to school here, you can impress him as well.
Well, congratulations and thank you, Professor Castro. And I feel like we went through that all pretty quick, but I do just, everyone that's getting recognitions this evening, you guys are all what make this college so special. So I appreciate everything you guys do, and from our exceptional students and student athletes to our classified and professors, thank you, and the board thanks you as well. With that, we will be moving to closed session. We're going to devote a total of up to 15 minutes to hear comments regarding closed session items. Do we have any, Catherine?
We do not.
Okay. With that, we're going to adjourn for closed session. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Coach. Christine, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Raphael will be back in a few minutes. Reporting out of closed session. Closed session, Board of Trustees approved the following full-time temporary at-will classified administrative assignment for Daniel Vega as Acting Assistant Director, Institutional Technology from June 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2024, and or until position is filled on a regular basis, whichever occurs first. Acting Assistant Director monthly salary will be based on administrative confidential salary schedule range 17, step E, $9,666. Mr. Vega will also receive a monthly stipend of 10% of classified salary schedule range 31, step H, $897 from June 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2024, until the assistant director position is filled on a regular basis, whichever occurs first. For retaining network administrator duties, salary and stipend will be prorated for any partial month of service. And that is it to report out of closed session. So next, I'm going to move to public comment. This is general public comment. This public comment opportunity is governed by the California Brown Act. By definition, is an opportunity to hear concerns, perspectives, and differing vantage points. The board is not able under the Brown Act to engage in any level of conversation or discussion, but we look forward to this opportunity to gather community input. At this time, the board will devote up to 15 minutes to review public comment on items not on the agenda. And I do have one public speaker, Sierra Bender.
Hello, my name is Ciara Bender. I am a first-year student here at Napa Valley College, and I apologize for my nervousness as this is my first time publicly speaking. But I am here to speak about why I believe that we should have a stronger campus culture here at Napa Valley Community College, as I feel that it will help students make new friends, give them something to look forward to besides their classes, and give the community opportunities to connect with students as well. And I feel as though this can be done by hosting more activities and events here on campus during and off of school hours. I know that it might be hard to make friends here at school, not only because I'm here to get my classes, take my credits, and move on to the next chapter of my life, but I feel as though many students are doing the same as well. But I'd like to take a step back and be able to enjoy my time here with my fellow students. I feel as though that could be done as we host more events and activities in the quad, or perhaps with other community groups that we can bring students together and give them an opportunity to meet with people who have similar interests and make friends with them. I also feel as though hosting these events will give students a reason to feel excited about coming to school instead of feeling drained or feel like it's a chore to come to school to get their classes done. I know that it can feel like I'm drowning as I am taking back-to-back classes and have digital piles of homework waiting for me to complete. But if I were to step outside into the quad and hear music playing, or seeing a group of students playing volleyball in the grassy field, or even a bunch of pop-up tents of a farmer's market or craft fair where small businesses are able to promote their product, it would give myself and other students a breath of fresh air. I believe that these events would also give the community a chance to connect with students as they are able to promote their own businesses and their purpose, while students are able to enjoy their presence here on campus and perhaps bring their family and friends here to enjoy it as well. I'm aware that we already advertise these events on our social media platforms like our Instagrams and our Facebooks, but I believe that if we also promote these events on public forums such as Facebook's Napa Happening, where not only subscribers to our newsletter and subscribers to our social media platforms can view it, but also members of the community and residents of Napa can also view these as well. I know that myself and others would be proud to say that we have a strong sense of community and of a distinct campus culture here at Napa Valley College, and I wish that we can make that a reality for all students to believe in as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Sierra. Any other public comments? Okay, we're gonna move to the consent calendar, but before we do that, I'm gonna make a change. I'm gonna move item 14.4 to 14.1. 14.4 is the NVTA. So I'd like to move that to 14.1. There's no objections, you guys? Okay. Did you get that, Catherine? All right, so consent calendar. I have a. Go ahead.
I need to recuse myself from item 9.7 as I'm a employee of Mentis.
Okay. Do we need Jenny to step out of the room for consent calendar now?
You just need to document that she's recused.
Okay. Catherine, will you note that? Okay. That said, do I have a motion for approval on the consent?
I'll move approval.
Motion by trustee Baker. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee DeLuna. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Again, that's trustee Jenny Olson recusing. All right. Item 13.1, this is 10,000 degrees MOU. Dr. G.
I'll ask our presenters this evening, Christopher Gonzalez and Tanya Drakenis to join us at the podium for a presentation.
Well, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Christopher Gonzalez. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer for 10,000 Degrees. We are a leading college success nonprofit organization here in California and scholarship provider that's really laser focused on supporting students from low-income backgrounds to and through college. So I'm here today with such excitement that we're going to be joining forces with Napa Valley College to really create a pipeline of support for our 10,000 degree students who are coming from these low-income backgrounds from all of our Napa high schools where we partner and really working together to plug them into the awesome supports that you all have to really just increase outcomes and opportunities for our students. Great, we can go to the next slide. Thank you so much. So in terms of how we actually accomplish that, I want to spend a second in terms of our model. 10,000 degrees, we have no GPA or test score requirement. We do not believe that that should define a student's trajectory. But 2, we do provide support with students to and through college. We have 10,000 degrees fellows who are near peer, essentially college mentors and recent college graduates who are alumni of 10,000 degrees, working at high schools out here in Napa County, getting students to college. And we pair that support with students with scholarships and success. So essentially our students are getting scholarships and a success advisor to really work with them to finish college and also get some career and internship support. Lastly, we have a community college success program. We've been around for around 43, 44 years. And really see community college as a viable and important pathway and something that we've early invested in for a long time now. So we're really excited to explore that and build that out here in Napa with you all. All right, next slide, please. Just a quick glimpse, we're serving about 1,500 community college students right now across 8 Bay Area counties. We have 7 current on-campus partnerships listed here. We also added Napa Valley College right on there as well. And just a big part of us again in being a scholarship provider this last year, we awarded around $8.6 million to students and just terms of their journey, through. Next, please. Right, and just a quick snapshot of where we are currently. I think right now, we're primarily focused in Napa Valley Unified School District, also Calistoga. And I think, in terms of the students we're supporting here at Napa Valley College, we have 65 students and growing, and we're providing around $73,000 in scholarships currently. Please. All right, so the good stuff. So I just want to start off again by thanking huge gratitude to Dr. Powell and Dr. Guerrero for really working with us to identify some really clear synergies and areas of opportunity for us to partner to really increase those outcomes for our 10,000 degree students, both in accessing this college, but also staying, transferring, and having some really great outcomes. One, something we're really excited about, because we have on-campus fellows at all of the high schools here in Napa County. We're really looking forward to collaborating on high school outreach to reach those students, but we're actually going to have a cohort of community college students who are going to be more or less ready to go. So our plans are really to work with student services, make sure they're coming in and meeting those students. But we're really working together to transition with them over the summer with the trust that we've built with them early in high school, and really plug them into the awesome resources that you all already offer. There are some really great services here at Napa Valley College. Some students don't know about it. And so our value add is really kind of hand-holding, bringing them over to that trusted person and plugging them in. I think additionally, we're looking forward to just strategically planning with the college on just outreach efforts, but other areas around college and making sure that students get the resources that they need in a timely way. And lastly, we will have an on-campus 10,000 Degrees Community College Fellow funded by 10,000 Degrees, who will be on campus, I think in the Student Services Department somewhere, working with our students, but also working with our college partners and learning communities to get them the resources that they need when they need them. And to talk a little bit more about what it's going to look like here at this college, I'm going to welcome up our Director of Community College Success, Tanya Rakinis.
All right, thank you, everybody. My name is Tanya Rakinis. I'm the Director of Community College Success. We can go to the next slide. So as Christopher talked about a little bit about our fellowship, this is unique to 10,000 Degrees. We have near peer mentors that work directly with our students. These are recent college graduates who work with our students. Many of them are alum. I'm an alum of the program as well. And they're the ones that are meeting with our students. They are meeting with them and connecting with them in a really great way because they're coming from similar backgrounds, shared experiences, culture, language. Some of them coming from the same high school that they graduated from, or attending, having attended the same community college. So it's a really great way to connect, and students feel really comfortable working with our team of fellows. Our fellows are managed by a manager, full-time manager, and our fellows are also full-time. So just wanted to make that clear. And our manager receives ongoing professional development and work with our fellows frequently. Oftentimes the managers are also on campus with our fellows. And it's our fellows that are doing the caseload management. So again, that direct student-facing work, and are there to support them throughout their college journey. As Christopher mentioned, for our other partners, we're on campus twice a week, supporting that one-on-one support, but also we host workshops. Some of them are informal. We really focus on community building too, so students don't have to make appointments. They can come and we can provide that support as needed. On the screen, you'll also see these are the areas where our fellows concentrate their efforts. A big piece is scholarship and financial aid management. Our scholarship is renewable up until the student reaches their academic goal, whether that's transfer, certificate, associate seeking. We'll support them with that renewal process every year, but also ensuring that they're renewing for state and federal aid. We want to leverage the maximum amount of free aid so that they're graduating with little to no debt. And so that's ongoing. And then school systems navigation. This is very like a big piece where we spend a lot of time just navigating the application, matriculation, the portal. We support students and families with that process, and cohort building and advocacy coaching. So we want students to get connected to the services on campus, but also learning communities, building a sense of community, having connections where they're also getting that support, not just from us, but those existing services that are often underutilized by the students we're serving, right? There's sometimes lack of agency. And so we work with a lot of coaching on how to access these resources, how to ask for help, and that it's out there. And then for transfer support, we want our students to meet with counselors ongoing. We want them to have an updated education plan every term so that there is a timely process timeline to reach their academic goal. And we work closely with the counselors, and students have to report their transcripts to us every year. That's how we ensure that they're meeting with a counselor and that there's a plan to reach their goals. Next slide. Thank you. And just, this is a comparable partnership that we have to NVC size, College of Marin. We really started with our programming in 2012 with 1 fellow and 25 scholars. Actually, I was a fellow at College of Marin, and it's now our longest standing partnership. We have close to 300 students we're supporting. And then we have some partnerships that we've highlighted there. For example, we have Summer Bridge that we co-launched in 2014, started with 24 scholars. This is the 11th year. It's institutionalized now. And this is, again, addressing summer melt, supporting students between high school and then getting them ready for the start of the fall semester. We also hold financial aid workshops with their financial aid enrollment services to partner with the California Student Aid Commission to host these workshops and ensure students are applying and renewing and accessing that free money. And then Train the Trainer series. Again, we work with a lot of different departments on, I guess it's a need. Financial aid is a big piece, but it's also how do we support undocumented students? How do we support pathways to financial aid eligibility? And we also partner with LinkedIn. LinkedIn is providing free workshops for students. And this is one unique partnership where it's open to all students. So not just 10,000 Degrees scholars, but all community college students can attend this LinkedIn workshop. And that's also just more career advising. They get a free LinkedIn premium account valued at $500 for free. But we realize it's not just about the graduation, but also planning exposure to career opportunities. And so this is, just we started very small, similar numbers to NVC, and we've scaled that over the years. That's it for us. Are there any questions?
I have just one question. I didn't notice, or I noticed that St. Helena High School wasn't on your list. Are you going into that area? You missed us and went to
They're
California.
on our list. to
Okay,
get
good.
to Next, yeah. So we've been in conversations. We've done a couple of workshops, but we're starting to plan and figure out next year.
Any other questions, you guys? It's an exciting opportunity and something that probably should have happened a while ago, but glad it's happening now.
I could just add really quickly before you vote, that this one of the really important things we're doing in student affairs and kind of my vision is to make sure we really collaborate with our community partners, right? Make sure that we leverage the support that's being offered to our students, work together, and really build these pipelines for our students. And this is the work 10,000 Degrees has been doing for a number of years. So it's important for us to lean into that relationship and to really build that connection so that it's a seamless transition for our students, because ultimately their students are our students. So let's work together to support them. We've been in conversation with 10,000 Degrees really over this past year in much more intentional ways. So I think this moving forward in this way will just really impact students and be a good move for Napa Valley College.
And President Iverson, before we have a motion, I'm just going to recuse myself from the dais. Advisory board member, Napa advisory board member for 10,000 Degrees.
Okay, Catherine. All right, with trustee Dodd recusing himself, I'll call the question. Do I have
I'll move to approve.
Second. Motion for approval by trustee Olson and a second by trustee Rios. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you and look forward to working with you guys. All right, and next, we're gonna do an NVTA. We got you guys up, so.
By way of introduction, President Iverson, we entered into an MOU, the board directed an MOU in March of 23 to work with NVTA to install a bus stop on the east side of James Deemer Drive, directly across from the existing bus stop. Mr. Bailey is here to give us an update and finalize our plan in that direction. So, Mr. Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves. My name is Grant Bailey. I'm the program manager engineer for the Napa Valley Transportation Authority and the project manager for the James Deemer Drive bus stop improvements project. As mentioned, I'm here this evening to seek approval for the final layout and design of the bus stop improvements, as well as looking for approval to have the board approve an amended and restated agreement or easement agreement with the city of Napa. Next slide, please. Just a quick orientation. I think many or all of you are aware of where this project location is, but just out in front of this building on James Demere Drive is the existing bus stop. Currently, it only services, service is only provided in the southbound direction. And so northbound service is provided at this stop, but it has to drive past Streblo, north on 221 into the campus at Magnolia Drive, head south, and then exit at Streblo after it picks up riders, and then head north, adding approximately 10 minutes to each trip. So next slide, please. So with the improved or the project improvements that we're proposing here, we'll be adding, if you scroll down just a little bit, I think maybe, yeah, there you go. Thank you. We'd be adding a couple of 2 bus stops on the east side of James Demere Drive, pretty much just across from the existing stop. As part of those, with those improvements, there'd be curb, gutter, and sidewalk, a bus shelter, small retaining wall, as well as pedestrian crossing improvements, crosswalk, and rectangular rapid flashing beacon that could be activated as users want to cross the road to draw attention to the crossing. And then additionally, there are speed tables on either side of these improvements as well, which would slow vehicle traffic as they approach the bus stop. As mentioned, NVTA would benefit from this by reducing northbound trip times by 10 minutes for each trip, and reducing total daily trip times by 200 minutes. But we'd also have a northbound stop, which is much more efficient and convenient for riders that are entering and exiting the transit system from this stop. Also I forgot to mention, there's a guardrail we'll be adding within Caltrans right of way. We've been working with them. We're this close to having our approval for an encroachment permit. It's about 300 feet. The reason for the need for that guardrail is the new improvements are within what's called the clear recovery zone, and Caltrans requires that these new improvements in that zone have protections provided. In this case, it would be metal beam guardrail. Next slide, please. So for our project schedule, we concluded design last month in April. We put the project out to bid in late April and opened bids. We would have opened bids on May 8th last week had we received a bid. Unfortunately, we did not. However, Public Contract Code does allow NVTA to proceed with soliciting bids from contractors of our choosing at this time. We are now working through that process and working to award that contract at our May board meeting next week. This should allow us to still maintain our current construction schedule to construct the project during the summer semester between June and August, with the anticipation of opening the new improvements prior to the fall semester. Next slide, please. It was one of the conditions of approval from the city of Napa. They required an amended and restated easement agreement. Currently, the city of Napa has a public utility easement with a domestic water line, a transmission line of, I think it's about a 36-inch line, about 18 to 20 feet deep under the proposed improvement area. The amended and restated language requires that the college take responsibility for future in the event that the city needs to access their utility for repairs or maintenance purposes, and the improvements that are proposed today are damaged. As a result, the college would be responsible to repair those. And I will say this is a fairly common arrangement. NVTA has a similar agreement with Napa Sanitation and the city of Napa for our recently opened bus maintenance facility off of Devlin Drive. We just opened that. And again, common and we have a similar arrangement.
Sorry, could I just jump in on that question, that point? Is if MPTA's contractors, let's just say, rip something open and totally destroy the water main, Napa College is on the hook for that?
No, that is a good question or clarifying question. Our contractor is responsible for any damage that any utility in the area has incurred. It's more in the event that the city needs to access their main for a repair or maintenance of that main in the future. And they have to dig through the sidewalk to access the mains that we're building as part of this project. The sidewalk repairs would be the college's responsibility to repair, as is the requirement of this easement.
I'll have a few questions, but that's gonna be one of them, so I'll just.
That's fair, yeah. And I think next slide. With that, I just want to extend my thanks to Dr. Powell, Mr. Reeves, and the administration at the college for their partnership in pushing this project forward. NVTA has been interested in this project or expanding this bus stop for a long time. And so thank you for helping us get there. And with that concludes my presentation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I know Trustee Dodd has a couple questions. Does anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, I guess that was I did two questions and you know, what I would like to see addressed in this is the first one, and I think this is the section you're talking about. This what stuck out to me, not that earlier provision that you were mentioning, but it's section 5D. It effectively says that notwithstanding if the city messes up and they destroy some sort of infrastructure while they're accessing the easement, as long as that work is deemed reasonable, the college is on the hook for making those repairs. That doesn't seem reasonable to me. I guess an approach. If the city is taking steps to address it's a water main, right?
Yes.
Yeah. If they're taking steps to repair a water main or replace a water main and they damage the college's sidewalk, they should fix that sidewalk.
So I think the logic here is there's an existing utility easement there now. And as a condition of approving the project being installed over the existing easement, they don't want to accept future liability for having to access or to maintain or replace that line. And so
is that what the easement says right now? The 1950 easement? It says that
the current.
It seems like we're taking on more. I'm sorry to jump in. Yeah.
I may have interrupted. I'm sorry. The current easement, it does not say that language that I'm aware. However, there's no existing infrastructure that covers the utility that is in question. And so I guess the reason for these new provisions or this restated easement is because the proposed improvements will, I guess, cover or minimize the accessibility of the existing utility.
And then it's very much an issue from my perspective. And then the next was, it says section C, or section C means 6. And I don't know if anybody on our team can kind of explain the background, but the insurance liability amounts at $4 million per occurrence and $8 million in the aggregate seems incredibly high for me. And I don't even know if we have those insurance, perhaps that's the insurance that we have right now, but just obligating the college to mandate that amount right now seems, just incredibly high, especially for the scope of this. I guess it's not terribly significant in terms of the work being done.
Grant, is that an area we can explore with the Transportation Authority or the city?
Yes, and so I think this is not a final easement, and I do believe these terms are open for negotiation with the city. This is a draft agreement, and we can certainly take those questions back to the city and have those amended if all parties are agreeable.
I'd like.
I'm sorry.
No, that was me. I would like to express, I have the same concerns that Trustee Dodd just expressed, because when we first talked about this, I know we talked about maintenance of the bus stop, and I thought we were clear that that was not going to be, I think the NVTA was going to do just the regular cleanup maintenance on that, which is one thing, but this was certainly never a part of it. The city requiring the college to repair damage that they cause. And they've got an easement over our property, right? So typically when you have more than one user of that area, whoever causes damage to the other party's improvements pays for it. So this doesn't make sense to me that they're going to cause the damage, knowing that we still have rights to use that property. I haven't seen the 1956 easement, but I think when Jeff asked, I think you expressed that no, there are no conditions there requiring the city to repair any damage that the city, requiring the college to pay for damages that the city causes. So I think that's a big issue for me too, not knowing the exact terms of that older easement, but that's not the understanding we had from the beginning.
Understood. And so I think I'll go back to your first point. In the MOU, the terms were, if I recall correctly, were NVTA would provide the capital costs for the improvements, and then the college agreed to the long-term maintenance of the stop itself. You're correct that we were unaware, it was not known at the time, that the last time NVTA presented to the board, but since during the design development, we were going through the approval process with the jurisdiction having, the agency having jurisdiction, excuse me, and this was one of their conditions of approval. I'll say also that the current easement, I'm fairly certain the current easement prohibits surface improvements in the easement area. And that was the reason for the need for the amended and restated easement agreement. The last thing I'll say about this is this language does put responsibility on the college, but I will say it is fairly unlikely the city will need to access their utility anytime in the near future, and that's probably into the next 30 years. Utilities such as these are built for 50 to 70 year design lives. And in the extraordinary circumstance that the city does need to access this, NVTA is open to sharing cost for repair of surface features proposed by this project.
Thank you. And I don't want you to feel like I'm attacking you. I know it's a city issue.
Likewise, I was going to say the exact same thing. Okay. Yeah.
We were very happy to see this, when you brought this to us. So I'd like to see it actually happen.
Understood. Thank you.
So with that discussion, it is an action item. We could pull it and make it an information item, bring it back once our teams look at it. I don't know.
Chair, I'd be interested, like, what's the timing? What's MBTA's timing on this, and how does that impact?
We should have the easement in place before we begin construction improvements. And so it will probably take, I would imagine, at least a month to negotiate revised terms with the college, with the city around the insurance. I don't know if they're going to be open to shifting responsibility around improvements to damage of the surface features.
So. If I could, I personally have difficulty approving this in its current form for those two pieces. The rest of the easement's totally fine with me, but 5D, to put the onus on the college with respect to repairs, liabilities, and whatnot that aren't caused by the college, just doesn't seem like a reasonable term to me. And Grant, should let you know you're being kind of jumped on by two attorneys here, so that's just just a little forewarning. So excuse us again. So that is this just seems inherently unreasonable. And then speaking to this insurance piece again, I would find it highly unlikely that we have insurance in that amount. I suspect what this is indicating to mean is that when the city is doing work in the easement area, they will be covered for these amounts. Is just my guess. I don't see any reason why a grant or granting an easement, really, they're doing this right as a favor. They're granting somebody a real property interest would take on the onus, the burden of obligating themselves for granting an easement to another party to this, at this amount. And the same really argument goes for the shifting liability too.
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
If NVTA were open to amending the MOU that we hold with the college for these improvements to explicitly state we would take on repairs to the surface improvements in the event the city needs to make improvements or repairs to their utility, would that be something the college would be more amenable to?
I think so. It doesn't.
Yeah, an indemnification. I don't know if Kate would agree to that though.
Understood.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm just asking.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I would be happy in light of the timing, we could, tentatively, I don't know what that looks like, but tentatively approve it or approve it. Again, if the board would support a motion that I could make, regarding these two sections themselves, that they would be amended to.
Well,
any improvements up and
what is
down,
your
yeah.
timeline? When do you have
Yeah.
to have this to meet the construction timeline?
So at the current state, the timeline for construction is first construction to begin in late June. Probably 6 to 8 weeks of construction. So we're anticipating completion of the project before the beginning of the fall semester. If the college were open to extending that timeline, I will say it's probably a pretty small work zone that they would need. And I, in my opinion, impacts to the college circulation and population and activities would be minimal for the improvements that are being proposed right now, even during the active semester. But again, that's your decision.
I'm not sure if we can approve with portions
Yeah.
excluded.
It's probably not a good idea.
So.
But it sounds like we have time if we could bring something back, and I would come back for a special if we needed. Grant, what.
That's what I was going to suggest, that
Really appreciate your work. Yeah.
we have Jim explore this insurance issue and try to deal with the other portion on that that we're concerned about, and that if we need to come back for a special meeting to approve.
And I'm not sure that we would even need a special, because we are with you twice in June, both for the retreat and we have an early, our board meeting in June is a week earlier than normal. So if we can expedite, the reconciliation, of the two outstanding items by early June, then I think we can get this through relatively quickly.
I can try. The city was pushed to get the draft agreement to us on the timeline that we did, but I can certainly try.
Of course they were.
Yeah.
I can't argue with my attorney trustee, so let's pull it as an action item, make it an information, we'll bring it back in either our board retreat or a special.
You can blame it on us, like these guys are total jerks. They just will.
Not at all. No, completely valid position.
No.
Thank you, Grant. We'll be in touch within about 12 hours, it sounds like.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Grant. All right. Next, we are going to go to our unrestricted general fund. This is operating fund revenues and expenditures. Budget update as of April 30th. Mr. Jim Reeves.
I call your attention to the schedule, the monthly budget report. It should look somewhat familiar to you by now. I do want to remind us that this is reflective of the adjusted budget that you approved at our last meeting. So we are at 10/12 of the year, or 83%. So the quick summary is the right column, obviously. Our revenues, our total revenues, we're sitting at about 93% of our budgeted revenues is revised. Our property tax receipts are at about 95% of budget at this time of year. So that's, I have no particular concerns about where we stand there relative to revenues. Our salaries are tracking just right on target. Our faculty salaries are at 84%. We have our academic permanent salaries at 66%, and you can see we have one at 93%, which is our classified temporary salaries. Those should actually wane off here toward the end of the year. Student salaries, while a small dollar amount, is still trending higher than budget. And we've agreed with the budget committee and others internally that we need to do a closer look at those, take a closer look. And our admin confidential are trending below 83% and 80%. Our total salaries are trending at 81%, which is a good sign in light of the fact that that's a significant portion of our budget. Our employee benefits are at 79%, again, a positive trend. All other items look pretty good. That 2,445%, it always jumps out at you, but it's only $4,000. It was an expense in two particular areas, one-time expenses. Our total other supplies and materials, operating supplies, is running at 79%, and our total expenditures to date are 79% of budget at 83% of the year. We are looking at about $2.3 million under what we spent in the previous year, which is a positive sign. And I would say I don't have much concern about how we're trending at this point, and much concerned about our ability to maintain our reserve level and maybe add another nickel to it by the end of the year. And with that, I would certainly entertain any questions.
Have any questions?
Yeah, I'm also pushing the end of my budget year, and so I start to get nervous about certain things. So I was just curious, particularly on the revenue, where we're at 95 and 93%, which is good. It's higher than 83, but I'm just wondering, are we anticipating that those are going to hit 100%? Because yes, we're at, roughly 79% in expenditures, but if you compare our actuals of expenditures to our actuals of revenue, we're at 84%, which is really tight. So I'm just wondering what the anticipated revenue is.
We anticipate we'll see some revenue trickle in. Property taxes typically some trickle in toward the end of the year, and we have a history of that. We'll also see some additional apportionment from state income. They pay it by the month, and so we'll see another 3 months of that. Let's see, 2 months of that. This is through April. So we should see an improvement in the state income where we're only showing 61%. But compared to last year, this time last year, we're at $44.5 million received. We're at 46 this year, which suggests to me that we still had a bump from last year because the gap between those two is fairly narrow. So I believe I'm reasonably confident we'll see a little bump toward the end of the year. Property taxes sometimes arrive after June 30th. It's that little trickle. Certainly that's been the history here.
With this budget forecast, is it possible to look at increasing our reserves?
I make no promises, President Iverson, but we appear to be trending in that direction, that we could contribute to the reserves.
Any other questions? No. Thank you, Mr. Reeves.
Thank you.
You're up again, but 14.2 California Community College Chancellor's Office Quarterly Financial Status. It's the report period ending March 31st.
Thank you, President Iverson. This is a lot of redundant information, but we're required to show the board are filing with C11 of the Chancellor's Office. You'll note that this is information that is is reflected directly from the previous report. I will share with you that this report is through the third quarter and doesn't include the adjusted budget you agreed to last month. So there's nothing here that causes any concern. We're trending at that point toward budget. Generally, we made those adjustments as we saw with some anticipated additional revenue and some negative variances we're seeing in some of our salaries that we adjusted. So this is fairly straightforward and very comparable to certainly the budget report you saw last month. You can scroll down. The other questions that the chancellor wants to know are a little further, Catherine, if you would. Are the questions here, has the district settled any employee contracts during this quarter? No. Did the district have significant events for the quarter? No. Does the district have significant physical problems that must be addressed? We're still answering no. That's a good thing. And of course, next year, we don't anticipate any next year. However, we have several unanswered questions in terms of our agreements with faculty and classified. So those are open questions, but we are not anticipating any physical problems related to those.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Jim. I think you're up again with 14.3 cash flow analysis.
Excuse me, trustee Iverson, who was the second?
It was trustee Baker. Sorry.
Part of our responsibility at the college is to provide support to the Board of Trustees or report on our cash flows. Cash flows are critical, particularly for community-based institutions, because we need cash flow, obviously, to pay our bills. And lean cash flows would suggest that we need to go and get a credit instrument to support cash. That is not the case here. Our cash is pretty healthy, and my recommendation is that we do not need a credit facility, certainly in the coming year, based on cash. Our lean months are typically September, October, November, until we get that first payment from our property taxes. But our balances suggest that we don't have that concern this year. And so I'm not recommending that we have a need for it, nor I recommend that we need a credit facility to manage the college through the year.
Thank you, Jim. This is information. Any questions?
Yeah. Jim, I appreciate your information. And I'm not questioning what your analysis, but a lot of us are hearing about the governor's budget, and just for the sake of the community, can you address how budget cuts will or will not affect this college?
That's a great question, Trustee Kishna. The governor came out with his May revised budget on Friday, and I wasn't prepared. I was going to prepare to report on that next month, but I'll give you the Cook's tour. They're looking at significant budget reductions across the state. I don't recall the exact number, but it had a B next to it, as in billion. And so there were several programs and several cuts across the state. There's a commitment to higher education to maintain a level of funding, generally speaking. So while we'll see some reductions in some areas, particularly in some categorical areas, the state is not looking at cutting community colleges. We need to qualify that a bit, because they are really speaking largely to what we call apportioned districts. There are districts that rely solely on the state for their income. We're distinctly different, Gesundheit, in that we're supported by county revenues. And those, to a great extent, are insulated from the variances, the vagaries of state budgets, which is really a benefit to being locally supported. So our revenues in our tentative budget, we're projecting a 4.7% increase in our our unrestricted general fund from property taxes. We will see a little bit of a bump in that state, the revenue in our state apportionment. We still get pieces of funding from the state as an apportionment. But some of those will be in what are called categorical funds. So while many institutions are looking at how they're going to manage that, that doesn't seem to be the case. That it's not as critical for we as a community-based institution.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Reeves. Moving on to 14.5. This is our Wine Education Center general contractor. And this again is Mr. Jim Reeves.
By way of introduction, I'd like to introduce Mr. Ken Burrows. Mr. Ken Burrows is the man on the spot here. He has an office on campus. He's with Kitchell. He is full-time with the institution, and he'll be managing our program on behalf of the institution. He is here to answer questions about the process that we went through to find a qualified contractor and to present information about a request to authorize the Board of Trustees to approve the contract that has been submitted and recommended by Kitchell.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves. Thank you to the board for having me tonight. I'm going to reiterate some of what Jim just said, but I'm Ken Burrows. I'm a project manager with Kitchell CEM. Our company's acting as the construction manager on the Wine Spectator Wine Education Center project, and I'm the on-site contact for all construction related items. So the purpose of my presentation is to introduce Midstate Construction as the proposed general contractor for the Wine Education Center project, and to detail some of the steps, procedures, and systems that we utilized in qualifying Midstate Construction for the project. So I'll just give you a brief background and summary of the project and a background on how we got there. So we have a 7,000 plus square foot wine education center, which will house 2 flexible sensory classrooms that can be combined to seat up to 80 students at a time, which will be the largest classrooms on campus. And it will provide an immersive and experiential appreciation of wine, plus laboratory classroom of 28 lab stations where students will gain hands-on experience, as I'm sure you all know about the project. On behalf of the district, Kitchell managed a request for proposal or RFP process in January of 2024 to pre-qualify contractors invited to bid on the construction contract for phase 1 of the Wine Education Center. Kitchell started a pre-qualification process for all general contractors wishing to bid on the project. This pre-qualifying process included a thorough review of company information, essential requirements for construction, organization history, organization performance, compliance with civil and criminal laws, and the organization's experience with recently completed construction projects of similar scope and size. In addition, there was a financial stability review conducted, and multiple reference checks were completed. So after the pre-qualification process, RFPs were requested of 7 pre-qualified contractors, of which 4 general contractors responded with proposals. Qualified bids were received and unsealed in the presence of all interested parties on April 25th, 2024. In that meeting, it was revealed that Midstate Construction submitted the lowest responsible and responsive base bid of $8,050,000. Following the bid opening, a post-bid interview was conducted with Midstate Construction to acknowledge the scope of work, contractual agreements, and schedule. The general contractor will be following the schedule outlined in the post-bid interview of May 16th, 2024 to May 30th, 2025 for completing phase one for the construction of the Wine Education Center. That concludes my presentation, and if you'd like more information or have questions, I'm willing to answer to the best of my ability.
Thanks, Ken. I just I really appreciate, I think the diligence that you guys did in bringing together, making sure that it was a nice bid that went out there, a nice RFP that went out there. And it sounds like you did a great diligence on the contractor we're selecting before us tonight. The one, I guess, piece that I'm just there's a little disconnect for me globally is how does this fit into the overall budget with respect to phase one? And maybe I might ask a multi-part question, so bear with me here. But I see that we have a total bid amount of $8 million. I know we have a donation, and one of those questions is a $10 million donation commitment from the Wine Spectator. Would love to know where that is. Is that in hand, or kind of what's the sequencing for obtaining those funds? And then I guess the second, what I was alluding to, and to kick off my long-winded question, was how does this fit into the overall budget for phase one?
Right. So to my knowledge, the 10 million is in hand, and the 8,050,000 is for construction only. Now we've done a review of, what else may be involved in that 10 million, but as far as what I'm proposing, that's just construction. I will say that along with the architect's estimate, Kitchell did a cost validation exercise to more or less to validate that these numbers are still accurate and that this would still be a valid estimate for the project. And then as the bids were received, there was the three low bidders were all within $500,000 of each other, all very close there, which gave us some confidence that it's an accurate number. But to answer your question, to my knowledge and what Kitchell is handling is the construction budget, and that's the 8,050,000.
Trustee Dodd, I think I can add to that. This is the construction, cost of construction. The project budget, we're still getting a few details. The revenue, the funding available for this is coming from a $10 million gift from the Wine Spectator Education Foundation, and a $2.5 million commitment from the Evelyn Allen Trust. So there's a $12.5 million available for phase one. I'm not suggesting we're going to use that all, but we have a commitment for design fees that we have incurred from TLCD. We have DSA inspection fees and testing fees, and we have some other costs associated with that we're just putting together in a budget to round this out, actually add to the $8,050,000. So that detail should be available. I've made a promise for late next week for that comprehensive budget. I don't believe it's going to exceed the funding available to it. And in fact, when speaking with the Wine Spectator today, they were surprised that it came in with the number that it did, because there was an expectation that we're coming higher. So I don't have an expectation that it's going to exceed the funding available. I think the question on hand is, can it offset any of the funding required for phase two? And that's the question, certainly paramount in everyone's thinking.
Do we have any other questions?
So, Jim, so you have utmost confidence now. I mean, just logically working in math, and like you said, we're not going to try to spend all of that 12.5 million, but you have utmost confidence that this 8.8 or 8.8 point something a million, thank you, that we're going to be stay within that budget in terms of all the costs, construction, professional services, fees, and so on, that will be under that 12.5.
The rule of thumb is that you need to commit up to 30% for soft costs associated with the construction project. And that's certainly within the parameters of of the funding available to us. But I don't want to commit to a number until we have done the calculation. We've made a significant commitment already in design fees. And we have an architect on board until the end of the project. So I'm still waiting for the projection to the end on that piece and some other pieces, but I'm confident that we won't exceed that funding ceiling.
Do we have an idea on the next phase yet? Or
$4 million. That's the best information I have today. I think that was a calculation put together by TLCD. And it may be worth revisiting, and there may be, I don't speak for the foundation, but there may be an opportunity to take some of the funding that's not utilized in phase 1 to apply to phase 2.
any other questions? That is an action item, you guys. I'm gonna call the question. Do I have a motion for approval?
Move to approve.
Or I
Second.
have a-
You can have it.
I have a motion by trustee Rios. I have a second by trustee Olson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Mr. Reeves. Keep it within budget. Okay, moving to our board policy and review and adoption. Do we have any? Can you pull it up, Catherine? Just so we see it.
So what you're seeing is 1, 2, 3, 5, chapter 3 documents for review. Staff is recommending no changes to those. And then you have institutional effectiveness. There's a revision attached. This was proposed and has gone through campus constituent group review. These changes were proposed by the Dean of our Research Planning and Institutional Effectiveness.
So information, their first readings, but do we have any questions on them? Okay. Thank you, Catherine. Right. We're at reports. Okay, so let's start off with Priya online or?
Present.
Okay, so that was Associated Students of Napa Valley College. Priya is not with us this evening, so classified Senate report. Nice to see you in person. What? All right, all right. I don't see Jasenia here. So no report for classified. Christine, I do see you.
I'm gonna keep it short for funsies as well. So I just appreciate being with my colleagues here tonight. Good evening again. The Administrative Confidential Group continues to be in discussions around planning budgets, DEIA, and shared governance. These are areas we've identified as priorities at the beginning of this academic year and will continue to be priorities for next year, in addition to ensuring equitable working conditions for our administrators and confidential staff. And as I shared earlier at this meeting, Imelda Bosco was selected as Administrative Confidential Employee of the Year. She's a great example of how administrators step in and step up, often quietly, and they get things done effectively and efficiently. And the recognition really should be more than just an annual, once a year thing in May. We also wanted to say a big kudos to Dr. Guerrero and the administrators who helped plan successful cultural celebrations this month. Big lift for Cinco de Mayo and APIA Heritage Month, and also a College Exploration Day. On Wednesday, we are awarding an AC Senate scholarship to a very well-deserving student, and many of us are assisting and participating in commencement. So we look forward to celebrating our students' achievements with all of you on Thursday. So it's been a year of hard work, many accomplishments, and as AC Senate President, I'd like to show my appreciation for my colleagues and all that they do for the college. So this concludes my fun report for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. I don't see Matthew here, so no report for
His report is posted.
posted. So Christy, you're up.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to let everybody know that we had elections last month. And I wanted to announce the results of that election. Our new Napa Valley College Faculty Association president is John Kitchlow. I will be vice president going forward. Our secretary is Angela Moore. Treasurer is Marisa Garcia Rodriguez. And Greg Moralia will be continuing on as our part-time rep. So actually, this is going to be my last board meeting. So that is, yeah, I am, you know, of course, measured in my belief. It's been 7 years, y'all. So I just wanted to say that I've enjoyed my time here. I am proud of the things that I've done as Faculty Association president. Of course, also very aware that there are some things that I have not done, right? One of the big things I really wanted to accomplish was family health care benefits for families. That has not been done yet. I still am optimistic that that is something that we can get done in the next few years. Of course, the comparable salaries, getting our faculty into the top third, as was written in our contract a few years ago, has been slower going than we would have liked, but that is still the goal, and that is still something that we are reaching towards and working with in negotiations. And then just preventing, you know, people from feeling burnt out, feeling discouraged, feeling overworked. And that is just something that has become, you know, something that weighs heavily, not just in our faculty, of course, but on our classified staff, on our administrators, right? The old adage, we're all overworked and underpaid, right? And I think we feel that. We came out of a pandemic together, and I don't think all of us have completely recovered from that emotionally, mentally, some of us even physically. But I feel optimistic that we can move forward together. I want to thank especially my vice president, Sean McCann, and our treasurer, Michael Gianvecchio, who are both stepping off the board this year after years and years of work. They've, you know, been amazing. I want to thank the academic senate presidents that I've worked with, Amanda Badgett, Dr. Eileen Tejada, and of course our current academic senate president, Matt Kronzer. I want to thank the other classified union presidents I've worked with, Jan Sharp, Dixie Larson, Yesenia, who is currently the union president, and our classified Senate presidents, Mike Rayford, Marty Shoemaker, and a lovely Danielle sitting next to me. You know, I always just want to stress that this is all of us together. You know, somebody reminded me about an article I spoke about years ago, I think after we came out of a pretty dark time. And I said, I just want to say that these are people. We are all people, and we are all here because we are trying to do good things here together. And I will always wholeheartedly believe that. And I'm not going too far. I'll be vice president for the next 2 years. And I just want to thank everybody here. And that is my report.
Well, you will always have a seat in here, so you're gonna have to just for funsies, exactly. Thank you, Chrissy. We will miss you, but we know you're not gonna be far. President reports, item 17.1.
Yes, if we could look at the OAA report. This is a time of recognition and celebration, and I just wanted to highlight a couple of things that have been happening in the last couple of weeks, and then look ahead to something that has a much longer arc. So the first, as our McPherson Award winner, Professor Antonio Castro has done a lot of great work, and I wanted to highlight one of the projects that he supported, student campus internship project, where the students investigated integrated circuits and real-world applications. And they presented their research at the MESA-sponsored symposium on April 24th, and it was super interesting and very encouraging to see both their presentations and others to speak with such passion and interest in the topics that they were studying. So that was a great highlight. And I'd also like to point out the student art show. This took place just the other night. It was the second in-person art show post-pandemic. So there was still that feeling of like, we're coming back, we are back now. It was really lovely to see. This is the gallery where the art show occurred, and there were works in painting, drawing, photography, and ceramics. And with the NVC Foundation support, they awarded first and second prize winners in each of those categories. And you can see that a lot of people were at the event to view the work and meet the artists. And it was very exciting to see our students presenting what they had done over the course of the past year. So looking much further ahead, for people who are not involved in academia, this timeline probably looks astoundingly long, but we are in the process of developing a bachelor's degree proposal in respiratory care. And last month, the program coordinator for respiratory care, Ricardo Guzman, made a presentation where he referenced this. We have a timeline for the project, and it has quite a few steps. The bachelor's degree is not a given. It has a number of approvals required. So our planned timeline is curriculum submissions in fall of 2024, so in a few months. Then the application to the chancellor's office in January of 2025. We anticipate that we will likely receive notification somewhere between 6 to 8 months later. Those timelines have varied in the last year or two. So that's something I have a lot less confidence in the timing, but that's what seems likely. And then that gives us a year to also make sure that all of our other systems are aligned with offering a bachelor's degree, because the tuition amounts, they're still very reasonable, but they're slightly higher than for an associate degree. There are also some changes that need to occur with financial aid to support that. So this timeline gives us sufficient room to plan for those changes as well, with the, if approved, the first cohort starting in fall of 2026. I will say, so we had a meeting yesterday with the team who is working on this project, and I was thrilled beyond words. Some of you have seen me get really excited. This was like a peak right up there. So Professor Guzman had been exploring credit for prior learning as a core component of this program. This is awesome. So our students who would be coming into this program have to have completed their associate degree and completed their licensure exam. By the time they get to that point, they have so much clinical experience, and in many cases, paid professional experience, to be able to award them credit in recognition of all the knowledge and skills they have acquired, and not require them to take repeated classes that are about the same things they've already learned. That's phenomenal. So this will also allow us to cut down the length of time to completion. I'm a little excited. That is my report.
Chair Iverson, I'm sorry. Dr. Martin, can you explain, I'm just following also that's the recent discussion about bachelorette or baccalaureate degrees for the nursing program that the legislature is considering. So what was there initial legislative approval, state legislative approval for the respiratory care program, or were you able to
Respiratory care is not one of the disputed areas, thank goodness.
That's the, okay.
Yes, nursing is still very much under discussion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good evening, board, community, and I too am very excited because it's a amazing month and I love this month of celebration and recognition of our students. I want to start off by acknowledging that we did engage in our Cinco de Mayo celebration again. This is after really about, I'd say, 10 plus years of it being gone from Napa Valley College. So reigniting our Cinco de Mayo activity on campus. This is a collaboration effort. Can't do this by ourselves, right? So it was student affairs, the Office of Human Resources. Want to thank VP Charles for all of her support and her staff support in that. Academic affairs programs, Christine Tapia and her team, really around organizing, helping us to organize this really important event that many of us in the community, I mean, I remember coming to this event as a high school student and participating. So I was excited that we were able to bring 160 high school students to Napa Valley College to experience the Cinco de Mayo activity. And of course, we had plenty of food, 500 burritos, well, there are 250 burritos, we cut them in half. Dancing, music, and performances, all from our local schools. So we had mariachi from local high schools that participated in this event. We also had ballet folklorico from Mariposas out of NCOE. So this really was, and it's collaboration not only among our programs here on campus, but in the community to offer this activity. In addition to that, a resource fair for our students here on campus and our community members. So it was a powerful day. I felt very proud for the work that we did. And I think we laid the groundwork for more events like this to come, really building that community and making those connections to the community was critical. So with that said, I want to talk a little bit about some outreach that we did also. This is on May 10th. We had 165 third and fifth graders. So the research is clear that outreach for especially those who are furthest from the center or most marginalized community members really should be happening in like middle school and even prior to middle school, exposing them to higher education. So we connected with Santa Elena and brought 165 kids, young people to campus to explore the campus. They had a performance at the Performing Arts Center, and then kind of a tour of the campus from our admissions and records staff. Took them over to the STEM building, science building, the library, and the gym. So very, very fun activity. They got to have their lunch here on campus and just picture themselves as future students. So it is critically important that we cultivate our community and really make college part of their story. So we're really thinking in that way as we do this really important work. And like we mentioned earlier, there's been lots of activities happening in student affairs in particular. I for a moment thought I'm going to do a quick update on each one of these, but there's a lot. There's 11 activities that are happening here. That would take a long time. So I listed there all the activities that we've had happening since really April 24th, ending with commencement on May 23rd. So you can see we've been really busy and shifting over to commencement. I'm excited to say we have 530 graduates who will be graduating this year with 885 degrees and certificates. So if we could clap it up for all of our graduates. Very proud of them and all their hard work. A week from today, at this moment in time, we will be finishing up our commencement ceremony over at the Memorial Stadium. So very excited about that and just what's to come. So that concludes my report.
I too am quite excited that this is the last report for me this evening. I'll be brief. We are working on the interim budget. We've spent now 8 months on the interim budget, and we will be presenting that to Dr. Powell very shortly and on to the board at our June meeting. I want to share with you some institutional technology updates. We are in the process of finalizing our search for an assistant director of IT, and we anticipate bringing to you a recommendation at the June meeting. I would add that the Chancellor's Office has been happy with our progress in terms of security of our IT systems. They afforded $600,000 to continued support for security, and just last week felt really good about us and added another $157,000 to support our IT infrastructure and security on campus. So we're pleased with that, and we will obviously put that to good use. I wanted to report on our housing numbers as of May the 12th. We have 675 inquiries in housing with 467 applications in process. And to date, we have 48 signed leases. We do anticipate that number to continue to grow. And we have a weekly marketing meeting that continues to look at how we can advance students through the process and how we can increase the number of inquiries in hopes of converting them to signed leases and students here at Napa Valley College. I would conclude by just a reminder about our ash landfill. It doesn't seem to go away, but we're closing in on the interim closure plan, working with Langen, our environmental engineer, and the county. Again, I think we're in a good place to be able to complete the interim plan in time to open the student housing project. Just a note there, we will need to finalize the final closure plan, but they've given us a little more time post opening of the student residential site to complete that. So that would conclude my report.
Good evening. In the Office of Human Resources, we are spending our late spring, summer, and the fall on focusing on improvements for technology and our resources. Our goal is to be as efficient as possible and improve the user experience. We spent 2 days on-site training with our Lucian advisor and looking at the modules that we currently own that has been improved and will definitely make a huge impact in how HR staff interact with our own processes. For example, right now, all of the leave administration is done manually. So if you can imagine when you have one person responsible for hundreds of leave requests, there is a delay in reporting to the user. With the improvements to our system, this will now be automated, and we will be able to request leave and track leave electronically. Additionally, we're looking at also online performance evaluations, not changing anything that's already been bargained, but making it automated to make, again, the user experience a lot better. We're also, May 30th, we are planning for an HR retreat. Our goal is to focus on equity and look at equity, how it plays in our roles within human resources, our services, and how we interact both with the employees of the college as well as the students. We'll be focusing on strategizing short-term and long-term goals, as well as an audit of all of the work that we've done over the year and cleanup. We're currently in bargaining with both classified professionals as well as faculty association. At the table with classified, we'll continue to bargain through the summer and into the fall semester. We have reached a tentative agreement to extend the pilot telecommute program, which was to expire June 30th of 2024. The extension will go until we have closed bargaining. Faculty Association, we look forward to meeting with you all tomorrow for our last meeting of the semester. We'll continue to bargain through the fall semester beginning August of 2024. One of the things that I did not put in here that I just want to note that there was an agreement for a 1% increase that resulted into 1,100 wage records that were entered by HR staff. So just want to point out that as we continue to make progress and do work, that the actual work of the staff can also be quite cumbersome as well. But I'm very proud of the work that comes out of human resources. And as you saw in the consent agenda, 23 administrative assignments have been forwarded for ratification. Thank you.
Thank you all. Just three quick things for me. This past week, we've started the work on really dialing in our energy costs and ensuring that we are maximizing our resources most effectively. So one of the first initiatives we did in this area is actually conduct a series of energy audits throughout campus. Echo Green was on campus, walking around, looking at our HVAC systems, looking at our ceilings. And we'll come back with some recommendations for things that we can begin doing. Again, as one of many steps in the future for us to become more environmentally sustainable and address some of the rising energy costs that we have throughout the country. Yesterday, I had the chance to present to Sunrise Rotary, the auxiliary, not our Rotary, but the auxiliary, because they reached out to me asking if they could partner with us on a service project. And I gave them 3 different ideas and suggestions for things to partner on. One of the initiatives moving into next year, as I've shared with the board, is really dialing in on our student basic needs and ensuring that we have adequate support. And, we're helping students to meet some of their needs just in terms of living expenses. And so the project that I gave them was actually on food security, on, asking for their help and assistance on locating additional resources and also spreading the message throughout the community in terms of what our needs are, what our students' needs will be. So they were very receptive to it. I actually had some members of Rotary who offered to bring food from their garden over to our basic needs center, and also to leverage existing resources within the county that maybe we're not partnering with to supplement some of the food costs for students. So very appreciative for Rotary for stepping up on that, and look forward to continue to work with that group in the months going forward. The last piece is just, a few months ago, we brought the concept and idea of a student transit pass to the board. This was a concept that, essentially students could elect to, purchase or add to their student fees at a very, very modest cost, kind of tax themselves to get transit passes on NVTA. And just this last week, students actually voted in support of that. Dr. G, I believe that the total annual cost for that was,
I believe it's about $16 for a student for the full
time.
year. Yeah.
Right. So essentially about $8 a semester for students to, unlimited rides on the NVTA network. And they're also in conversations and discussions about expanded partnerships outside of just NVTA with Solano County as well. Very excited about that. This is something that is present on a lot of different colleges around the state. So the fact now that students will have unlimited rides on our metro system, especially in advance of student housing, is a very, very good thing. So more to come on that. And that concludes the president's area reports.
Trustee Rios, Audit and Finance Committee. Nothing. Peterson. Again, congratulations, Professor Castro and Shank. I think about congratulations, Ms. Henderson. And see.
Yeah, usual dates. So on next week, the foundation is supposed to be giving out their annual scholarship ceremony this Thursday, which is 2nd. So hope to see you there. If you're not going to be a last minute attendee, that's totally fine. Just jump on stage. It's a lot of fun. Wednesday. There's also decidedly the groundbreaking of the Wine Education Center tomorrow. That is correct. And that one. And so I hope to see everyone there as well. And then, we talked a little bit about the approved construction contract for phase 1, but there is a big push for phase 2 right now. I mentioned a little bit last month about that initiative. Karen Fonell had a really great and very great turnout with a lot of, I think, folks that are very active in the wine industry, major players that I don't think had any sort of introductions in college at all. And so it's nice to see a lot of new faces there, and people are very invigorated and interested in supporting the college. So it's it was really new faces. So I'm very optimistic that it's gonna take some time, but meeting our goals for this phase 2 project. But as part of the initiative of this phase 2, the foundation put together a video, and Catherine, I believe, linked up.
Being born and raised in Napa, it was kind of naturally a next step for me to come and join the college here.
You know, as being the first in my family to graduate, my grandpa never had that opportunity, even though he worked in this industry as a vineyard steward for the past 35 years. And I really wanted to study that degree to pay, like I said, to pay homage to him.
When I first came to Napa, the only experience I had with wine was drinking it, and I was very good at it.
I was actually making alcohol at home, and that didn't turn out too well.
The students get to make the wine, they get to grow, interact with the vineyards, they prune, they do all of the management, fermentation monitoring, bottling, and even sales. So it's a one-of-a-kind program.
I have several favorite memories. Maybe one that wasn't my favorite was harvesting in 95-degree weather.
In a few short years, I went from someone who came in completely green to someone who now is working full-time in the industry for one of the largest companies in Napa Valley.
Another good memory is with Paul's class, the cultural appreciation of wine. We would dress up and bring in different recipes, different food that we would match to that time period, and learning the history of wine.
I had such a great experience with the professors and the opportunities that were given to me here at this program that I decided to go for an undergraduate.
I am going to be doing harvests, internships. Ultimately, I'd love to be a winemaker. I love doing lab work.
I always love to say, well, there's no wine, there's no love. I was able to find that in this program too. This program helped me find love. It helped me, you know, really find a career as well, and something to really look forward to, you know, that I can build for like the next generation.
The new buildings are really going to facilitate the next generation of learning, and I think it will be really good for the community and be more welcoming.
I am really excited for the future students, just because I feel like it's giving the college a new opportunity to allow other students to get involved.
By donating to this program, you really are helping the future of the wine industry. You know, Napa Valley is such a big giant in the wine world. You know, what better way to kind of still keep that going, you know, than investing in the future of generations.
Donating to this program is going to ensure not only the quality of the professionals that are occupying the wine industry for the next generation, but you're also helping guarantee the continuation of the quality of the wine that's made the Napa Valley what it is today.
Donating to Napa Valley College is super important because this is where a lot of the students find their passion. They find what interests them, and so having a multitude of different facilities and programs available to them, from winemaking to grape growing, hospitality, it just provides a lot more flexibility for people that are looking to pursue this industry.
This is why donating to Napa Valley College and into the wine department is very important to us. So thank you very much for the consideration and your donations.
I'm not sure if they mentioned it last month. There was, I don't recall mentioning it. Jim might mentioned it too, but we were very grateful to receive a $1.5 million grant to benefit renovation for our welding and machine tool facilities building. Has I think a long way there. I think we're all very nervous that we weren't going to get it in light of everything that's going on with the state budget situation. But those dollars came through. They came through with the foundation, and then as Jerry Dunlap mentioned, we are hosting our second annual Storm Cut on August 8th. Thanks for the trustee dog. A lot of good things happening over there. And Future agenda item requests, so I'll put it on there. Class. There. Okay. Favors? Let's do trustee and board chair report. Start with you, trustee.
I attended a trustee conference in San Diego with trustee Anderson, Rios, and Dr. Bell. The highlight, I thought, was a session on college classrooms and Zooms to help reentry students into the workforce. And the low point I thought was a session on AI, where nobody seemed to be concerned about anybody's data being shared or our constitutional rights. So I just wanted to get out a message to like be protective of your data, especially bank account information, and protect your constitutional rights. Thank you.
Let's go down the road.
I've attended a few end of year events. Last week I went to the transfer celebration for a little bit and the honor society induction. They were both just really, intimate. Well, the transfer celebration is really fun. I always love that one. The energy is kind of out there in the pod. And then both the honor society induction last week and Dr. Chang award ceremony yesterday because Dr. B or Mrs. B. They're asking her when she's going to be that doctor. Just very intimate, special events, and I want to thank staff and leadership for just, creating these and hosting these thoughtful events to honor and celebrate our students, faculty, and staff. And I'm looking forward to the lesson next week.
Yes.
Well, as trustee Bishop has just said, we were down in San Diego, conference, and I thought this was the first time that I attended the San Diego conference. Happened to be here there. Had attended Sacramento January 1, which I found kind of be the same thing over and over since the 12th year, almost 10 years. So I found this a little bit more interesting, the topics were a bit differently, more kind of rather than telling you this is what you trustees are supposed to do and how you're supposed to do it. There was more kind of challenging think about the issues that face the colleges. And how trustees fit in that AI, other legal issues, and DEI, all of these things. So I found that it was for me a lot more beneficial than the genuine one. For so many years, and heard the same thing about the ground that what you can say, what you can say, and how you can say it, which I want to knew from practice. So it's great. And Trustee Anderson and I were there a little early, so we got lucky and were able to enjoy a round of golf at Twin Pines before the conference. So, the conference is all things it's great. All of it. And of course, enjoyed being able to spend a little bit of time talking to Dr. Powell about some of these things that we were hearing at the conference, right? And that's so I'm hoping to attend the groundbreaking tomorrow. I got a board hearing at 9:30 for me to quickly so we can get down. That's it.
I agree. Between my day job and this job, I only can teach that round at class. Since I wasn't here last month, I'd love to say that I missed you, but sorry to just having a great time on Broadway. And then I did last month go to the Mariachi Festival, and it was fabulous. Absolutely loved it. I think that they would have gone all night if we had left them. But I also went to a couple of the events this year. I kind of stole my own thunder. I went to Mojo and Shane and to McPherson. I'm looking forward to the events tomorrow and next week, and that's in my report.
Very grateful to attend the end of the year culinary luncheon with Dr. Powell. and President Iverson. But I had to leave halfway through after I realized I left my son at school and I was supposed to be.
no.
So thank you both for indulging me. I need to stick out early. I really appreciate your patience. I love you both. That's good. I feel like I've been really busy and I've seen off the pilot really a lot in the last couple of months. And I think the big highlight for me was the conference and throwing myself under the bus. I tried to run with trustee Rios and he had what felt like a really long run, but I tried and he literally ran circles around me. So, but the conference was great and being around other trustees and other presidents, I always come back, like, yes, I learn a lot at these conferences, first time in San Diego. But we have a great college. I mean, we have a really good team across the board and great, confident, open-minded leader right now. I feel like we're on the right path. We've had some bumps and bruises. We don't always get along and agree, but it's a solid district. But some of the problems that you hear from other colleges. Well, way better off. So, on that note, listening, let's go back to the session. We'll adjourn.